Will the US ever attack China? If they thought they could win, they'd have done it already. Look at what just unfolded in Iran. In February 2026, the US and Israel launched a missile strike that assassinated Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. 1 minute they were at the negotiating table, the next, missiles were raining down. This is the US playbook. It never waits, never hesitates. Go back 30 years to Iraq. Saddam Hussein dared to sell oil in euros instead of US dollars. The result? His country was bombed into rubble, and he was executed. This is the unspoken rule of US hegemony: anyone who challenges it will be destroyed. Donald Trump didn't even bother to hide it. He told the world outright, the US doesn't need international law. Translated plain and simple, I can hit whoever I want, whenever I want. Now, what about China? Has China challenged US hegemony? Let's be clear, China isn't just nudging it. It's striking at the very heart of America's global power. There are still people out there who think China is too soft, that it only speaks in empty diplomatic platitudes. But they have no idea what China has actually been doing over the years. Put simply, every time the US tries to lock in its dominance, China rewrites the rules. Every time the US tries to rally the world to its tune, China builds a fairer alternative that leaves Washington out. Don't believe me? Let's look at the facts. When the US fought to protect its dollar hegemony, China launched cross-border RMB settlement, built the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, rolled out BRICS Pay for the bloc, and sealed RMB trade deals across every corner of the globe. When the US tried to act as the world's policeman, China launched the Belt and Road Initiative, forging equal partnerships with country after country, quietly but steadily expanding its global influence without firing a single shot. Now, the US is in full retreat. It's pulling back from its global role, trying to hunker down as the sole superpower of the Western Hemisphere. But when it looked up, it found China had made inroads right into its own backyard. From Venezuela to Brazil to Peru, Latin American nations are turning east en masse. The truth is, China has been far more assertive than most people realize. For any other country, pulling off even one of these moves would have triggered a US military invasion decades ago. So why hasn't the US attacked China? The answer is brutally simple: it's not that they don't want to. They don't dare. Let's go back to the 2016 South China Sea crisis. The US sent 2 full aircraft carrier strike groups right to China's doorstep, missiles locked and loaded. But in the end, they turned tail and fled. Why? Because they ran the numbers. They knew they couldn't guarantee victory. They knew those 2 carriers would end up at the bottom of the South China Sea. If they didn't dare to strike then, they have zero chance now. Militarily, even a single India-Pakistan air battle opened the world's eyes to the real power of China's defense industry. And now, China has unveiled its 6th-generation fighter jet. A full generation ahead of the US, no question about it. When it comes to critical tech supply chains, China holds a near monopoly on the world's rare earth elements. If it cuts off supply, US production lines for everything from weapons to cars to semiconductors would grind to a halt in weeks, if not days. China accounts for 1/3 of the world's total manufacturing output. Over 80% of global solar panels, more than 70% of the world's lithium-ion batteries, all made in China. In the new energy era, if China wanted to impose a chokehold on global supply chains, everyone from Elon Musk to Donald Trump would be left completely helpless. But what scares the US the most? Over 80% of the everyday goods American families rely on are made in China. If the US truly decoupled from China, American supermarkets would be empty. You wouldn't even be able to find a roll of toilet paper. That's exactly why Trump's frantic trade war fizzled out in humiliating fashion, forcing him back to the negotiating table with his tail between his legs. Let's be clear, international geopolitics isn't about empty talk. It's about having the power to make your enemy feel real, irreversible pain. This isn't to say China has overtaken the US entirely. But one thing is undeniable: we're now locked in a terrifying balance of power. A modern-day mutually assured destruction. China can use its military deterrence, rare earth controls, and trade countermeasures to stop the US from acting recklessly. The US can use its military alliances, financial sanctions, and geopolitical blackmail to make trouble for China. Both sides are stuck in a stalemate. China doesn't want war. But as long as China stands strong, the US won't dare to strike. So back to the question we started with, will the US dare to attack China? The answer is this: they want to destroy China more than anything. But they're more terrified of a full-scale conflict with China than anything else. Because they know it would mean mutual annihilation. Right now, we're in a high-pressure equilibrium. The US will keep building its containment blocks, launching tech blockades, and spinning anti-China propaganda. But it will never dare to break the balance with a fatal, all-out strike. But make no mistake, China can't afford to back down, not even an inch. Because the moment it shows weakness, the US will strike with deadly force. Great nations don't get to surrender. The only path forward is to keep growing, keep getting stronger, to make sure our enemy never dares to fire the first shot. Because true peace only comes when you have the power to defend it.